I'm really pleased that the Ned-Liest catch took a thought that was in my head and presented it in front of me. This is the 22nd episode of the 22nd season of The Simpsons, directed by Mike B. Anderson and Chuck Sheetz. And Ned and Krabappel start dating. Now, the reason this comes about is relatively interesting. Krabappel does something she really shouldn't have done. And I won't say actually how it happens, I won't spoil it completely, but long story short, she ends up dating Krabappel. As you can imagine, Bart is mortified that his teacher is spending a lot of time next door. Things seem to be going quite well for the pair of them, and certainly it's very interesting to watch. But needless to say, Krabappel and Flanders are like chalk and cheese when it comes to love lives. When it comes to their sex lives, they're like chalk and cheese. And when this started, my initial thought was, Krabappel's with somebody else? Over the course of the last 22 seasons, she must have been with more than half of the core main characters in The Simpsons. And now that's another notch for her bedpost. And actually, the episode presented this. And the episode made it clear to Ned that she'd actually been with a lot of people. And Ned has to try and work out whether or not this is something he's bothered about, and whether it should matter, which raises an interesting discussion. Should it really matter how many partners somebody's had before you? Obviously excluding, infections and other things, but in terms of just how many numbers they've racked up, does it matter? Should it matter? If you didn't know, would it have made a difference? And I think that that's something that's quite interesting here, and I won't say exactly what conclusion Ned comes to, because I can't. And I'll discuss what I mean by that with a spoiler warning, but I hated the ending. It really frustrated me. But in general, I thought it was a good episode. I think Krabappel and Flanders are an interesting match. I personally wouldn't see them working long term, but for this episode at least, it was fascinating enough. I mean, I genuinely don't know what happens going forward, because I haven't seen any of the episodes after this. I will do, of course. I will go and immediately watch the next episode, but I genuinely don't know what to expect. But based just on this episode, I don't think they're a great mix. But in terms of being entertaining, I thought it was pretty good. And the way Bart responded, I thought was pretty fascinating. And that's about it. So, the ending, I will discuss what happens at the end. At the end of this episode, Marge and Homer address the audience and ask the audience to go to the Simpsons website and vote on this, and I just thought, I just want an ending. I just want to know what happens next. Obviously, I can, it's 2023 and I've got Disney Plus. I can go ahead and watch the next 10 plus seasons and find out. But at the time, that would have really annoyed me and really frustrated me. And I don't want to interact with TV shows. I don't want to dictate what happens in my favourite TV shows, because there's no fun in that. I want to get annoyed if they make the wrong decision. So, yeah, I'm going to go and jump ahead and see what happens at some point. For all I know, maybe it was never mentioned again. I don't know, I'll find out. But certainly just based on this episode, I enjoyed the episode, but I didn't like the ending. But in general, it wasn't too bad.